Hope you're doing well. Here we go. January's moving right along. This is what happens. This is how it goes. Time just flies by. Unless you're a young kid in school, and then everything seems to drag. But right now, time is moving fast for us older folk. Let me see. This one will be airing January the 23rd. And I just want you to take a moment and think about, we've been studying recently the person of Christ, and I've been trying to use some of the examples that I have from my grandkids. There's a verse in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, therefore be imitators of God as beloved children. Now, there's many things that we say, some kind of, things that we say just goofing off. For example, when I'm with the grandkids, every now and then I'll take them for a ride. We go out. It never is an inexpensive trip for me. I think I've spent a car payment every month just buying little snacks, things that we, whether it be chicken nuggets or, I'm telling you, the pumpkin bread at Starbucks, man, that's addictive for these little guys. So every time I'm with them, it's always something. Every now and then, because they're kind of bugging me, I'll just say, you know what? You guys are driving me crazy. Probably say it more like, you're driving me crazy. Well, the other day in the car, I was just kind of chatting, just kind of driving along, and out of the back seat comes little Lincoln, who says, Papa, you're driving me crazy. That's an interesting thing. The previous verse to this, Paul says this to his church in Ephesus, all the disciples there. He says, I want you to be kind to one another. That's interesting. Tender-hearted, meaning you have these feelings that come deep from within. Forgiving each other, just as God in Christ Jesus has forgiven you. Now that's interesting. The second verse in Ephesians chapter 5, now we're going to be imitators. It says, walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself for you. Now, I find it interesting that love is attached to kindness. And if God's love is present, one of the things that we do find, and we'll be talking about that tonight in church, is how we have this ability, number one, to put up with people, and number two, to be kind. Now you should think about that in the way that so many things that we hear today. I'm amazed at how many commentators there are that are out there that just simply aren't kind, which tells me they're not speaking with any relationship to the love of God. Therefore, they don't think of this person that they're speaking of in any other way than a right and wrong condition. And we'll get into that more in our next devotion. Because truthfully, the moment you start thinking like that, you're just basically judging someone for what you are yourself. Those verses in Titus 1, I believe it's verse 14 and on, where it says, to the pure, all things are pure. This ability that we have just to be innocent and pure, to live in this kind of childlike relationship, to imitate God as just children, meaning that we can be kind because everything that prevents us from being so has been dealt with by the cross of Jesus Christ. And we've been forgiven so that we can forgive. And we can walk in the love of God. I hope today, let that be like the barrier that decides what you will and won't hear. And if you hear it, how can I say it? How you'll treat the information. It may be truth, but it's not an Ephesians 4:15 truth and love. If it's not, make sure that you take it and place it through the cross of Jesus Christ in the category of God's love, so that you can be kind in the way that you think, the way that you act, and the life that you portray. And you know what? Maybe we need a little more of that kind of imitating that goes on, not just responding to what God has done for us and what he said and giving it to others. Yeah, I kind of laugh when Lincoln said that, because he was just throwing back at me what I've thrown at him a few times. In many ways, I think God's just up in heaven waiting for me to give him back what he's given to me, and then give it to others too. Till next time, friends, God bless you.